A few nights ago, I listened to some critics of the Manosphere and people like Andrew Tate being derided as toxic and misogynistic. These mindless accusations aren't new and were easy to brush off, but one thing in particular struck me as something that deserves a deeper conversation. Too many people in the outside work conflate terms like the Manosphere and men going their own way, and this rubs me the wrong way. There are even times when the word incel gets thrown around into the mix, introducing labels with negative connotations that hurt our cause. Men going their own way is a defeatist philosophy that I want nothing to do with, and I believe it is doing more harm than good in forwarding the case for men in the world. So it really grinds my gears when we're put on the defensive and made to justify ideas we want nothing to do with. The red pill is a positive and healthy philosophy. It reveals to you the truth about the world you live in and the dating market you inhabit, but it also gives you the tools and knowledge needed to properly navigate it. This is the antithesis of the black pill, which is a doomer philosophy that believes in hopeless nihilism and makes men go down a dark and terrible route. So here's a blunt question. Is men going their own way ashamed of the Manosphere, where men around the world are converging on online platforms and sharing life advice and self-improvement tips? There is a group of men that decides to do something entirely different. They decide to look the other way, sulk in their loneliness, and walk away from dating and women altogether. This group of men pride themselves on being unfeeling for women and believe they are ultimately a detriment and roadblock to a happy life. It is this dark abyss from which many toxic men have sprouted. Their views on women are uninformed and arguably even genuinely misogynistic. These men cast a dim light atop all of the positively masculine men of the world. But try hard as you may, it is difficult and tiresome to continuously try and dissociate ourselves from all such nihilistic worldviews. I feel the black pill has a very apt name. It is dark, sad, defeatist, and hopeless. It's akin to a black hole that sucks out all life and color from these men's lives as they sit worried about things like their gonial angle and ramus length. The men going their own way pride themselves on going their own way, but the truth is that these men have in fact been sent their own way. Their quaint self-assurances that there is nothing they can do to improve their situation is nothing but a cop-out. Have you ever had the feeling when telling someone you're part of the men's self-help world? Perhaps your tongue would have stumbled trying to say Manosphere, fearing they would confuse you with the incels and men going their own way. I know I certainly have, and that's why I believe drawing this bridge is so necessary. The black pill is a life devoid of hope. It forces you to give up and walk away. It wants you to construct a mental model in which your positive action can have no positive impact on your life. This is exactly a philosophy for life that I will never espouse. I have seen men go down the black pill rabbit hole and seldom come out. They spend hours ingesting material and content about how the entire system is rigged against them, but don't have the will to get up and try anyway. This rabbit hole engulfs their lives and serves to act as a shield against taking positive action and trying to change their circumstance. As Andrew Tate has often said on the grand chessboard of life, all you can do is make the right moves one at a time. You cannot discount the future, and neither can you foresee the impact of the action you take today. But one thing is for sure, taking a negative and defeatist attitude is the worst possible move you can make on the chessboard. This is what the men going their own way is, and the Manosphere is not. This is why guys and the men going their own way are not a worthy representation of the healthy and positive masculinity we promote. They embark on a completely different direction from us and can never reconcile their worldview with ours. I believe it is ultimately best for adherents of the Manosphere and men's self-improvement to distance themselves from labels that prove a detriment to their own cause. This is the only way the movement can spread and encompass more people unhindered. The black pill life is akin to living a sad and lonely existence when you have all the tools and knowledge you need in your lap. It is a shield for bad decisions and flawed worldviews. I have witnessed the downfall of men that bought into this philosophy and spiraled downward in their life. In the men going their own way, I have seen men lead lonely lives, wiping away tears, but still convincing themselves that they made the right decision. The inescapable fact of life is this: for a woman, there is no happiness without a man, and for a man, there is no happiness without a woman. Try as you may say otherwise, you cannot simply be content with experiencing one end of the spectrum and never having positive and intimate relations with the other. And here's another important reason why the men going their own way is antithetical to the manosphere and ultimately brings shame to its purpose. Men throughout history have worked, toiled, fought, and improved themselves mainly to win the affection of a woman. This has been the driving force behind the conquest of the world and the building of civilization. But the men going their own way goes against the grain, and in doing so wipes out a major reason why men are driven to improve themselves and amass power and resources. They pretend not to care, but enact philosophies that ultimately hurt them and their cause. And now, it is hurting the wider masculine cause. I believe everyone in the red pill space needs to do more to widen the perceived gap between these philosophies and espouse an ethic of self-improvement and healthy masculinity. This is the only way we can reclaim the space and get the positive attention we rightfully deserve. Doing so will shed the burden of justifying worldviews we don't agree with, and will help us fight the dilution of our positive message. But that won't happen overnight, and neither will it be a consequence of complacent inaction. Instead, you will need to remain persistent in your drive to differentiate the ideas you hold from philosophies that seek to break down modern men and tarnish our image. This is how we will build a community of men dedicated to building themselves into stronger and more resilient members of society, both for themselves and those around them. If that sounds interesting, join this growing cadre of men on a journey to bettering themselves, and by extension, bettering the world around them. We need as many men in on the fight as possible. So, like the video and hit the subscribe button to never miss another timely update. The content you find on this channel is an amalgam of years of experience coupled with sheer pragmatic knowledge. This is what will put you ahead of the curve and assist you in your pursuit of masculine excellence. Until next time.